If you close your eyes for a moment, you can hear Altadena. The hum of the trails, the sounds of the kids playing on the playground, the noisy green parrots at dawn, the way the mountains hold our stories. Since the Eaton fire, those familiar sounds have changed. It's much quieter now, and the air feels heavier. The community that I love, that we all love, is hurting. And we are consumed, overwhelmed even, with the multitude of things required to rebuild our community, our parks, our homes, our routines, our sense of normalcy. But in the rebuilding process, I noticed that there was a silence. In the meetings, in the committees, I noticed that there was a voice missing. The voice of our young people. Too often, youth are talked about as future leaders, while decisions affecting them are happening without them in the room. But young people are not the future. They're the now. And their ideas, creativity, and urgency are exactly what we need to imagine and rebuild a thriving Altadena. When we talk about reclaiming, we often think about land or memory, but I believe we must also reclaim voice and power, especially for our young people. I'm a youth development researcher, but before now, I was a high school teacher and track and field coach. And I'll never forget how often my students saw things that adults had missed, things that they overlooked. So one day at track practice, one of my athletes came to me and said, "Coach, we could make this so much better if you just let us lead warm-ups." They didn't just want to participate. They wanted to contribute, to lead. So I let them. And would you believe that within weeks, practices ran smoother, team spirit was higher, and they were able to own their experience. Now that's the power of youth voice. It's not about giving them a seat at the table. It's about realizing that the table was never meant to be built without them. And when we do listen, amazing things happen. Just ask a young girl right here in our community. After the fire, Avery Culver noticed something that adults had missed. Adults were being helped with all of the things that they needed: houseware, clothing, shelter. But the needs of young people, especially young girls, were being overlooked. So she started Altadena Girls, a pop-up shop, of all things, where girls who'd lost everything could pick out clothes, beauty supplies, journals. Small things to some, maybe, but this helped them to feel like themselves again. And what began as a few bins of donations turned into a movement. Avery and her friends raised money, built worldwide partnerships, and created a community space led by young people for young girls, filled with art, music, mentorship, and belonging. Altadena Girls reminds us that rebuilding isn't just about structures. It's about restoring identity, confidence, connection. It's proof that when you let youth lead, they don't just rebuild what was lost. They imagine what's possible. So what if Altadena became a place that welcomes young people to co-design our recovery, not after the fact, but deeply embedded alongside our highest officials? Imagine deferring to them about what matters to them and what impacts them both now and in the future. Youth artists creating murals that depict both recovery and loss. Students imagining what their schools will look like and the infinite possibilities that they'll hold. Young people designing community spaces like here in the library, reflecting what community looks and feels like to them. When young people take ownership, we don't just rebuild stronger structures, we build stronger bonds. And their insight pushes us to think beyond efficiency and towards empathy. They remind us that belonging is so much more than just brick and mortar. Recovery isn't about just putting pieces back together. It's about shaping a future worth living in. So start by asking a young person, what would you change? And listen. Let them lead. If we rebuild with youth at the center of Altadena, we won't just recover from the fires. We will light a future worth running towards, vibrant, inclusive, and alive with possibilities.